Hey, it's Lockie here, and this is my review of the Burton Cartel bindings. They are pretty popular, stiffer flexing, do-everything bindings that have a good set of features for the price. I bought the reflex versions of the Cartels, which means that they come with discs that let them be mounted on regular 4x4 boards, as well as an extra set of discs if you are mounting them to a Burton channel board. Even if you are mounting them to a channel board, I would still buy the reflex rather than the channel-only EST, so that you aren't limited if you end up buying another board that isn't a Burton. Burton rate the Cartels as having a stiff flex, and even though they have a very locked-in and direct feel, the stiffer flex doesn't feel restrictive. They still have a bit of give to them. The straps are really nice. They're probably the best feature of the Cartels. The ankle strap wraps nicely around my Solomon boots, locks down well, and doesn't make any pressure points. The flexible connection means that it folds out of the way easily, so you don't have to fight to get your boot in the binding. Same with the toe cap. It has a grippy rubber feel on the inside and covers the toes of the boot nicely. Neither of them have ever slipped on me, and seeing how they fit, I doubt that they really could. The auto cant footbeds are a little different than the way some other brands do it. Some other brands like Ride, Roam and Nitro come with footbeds with specific angles, something like 2, 2.5 or 3 degrees. The idea of canting is that it puts your feet at a more comfortable angle and helps align your joints. The Burton way of doing it is that they have a softer padding on the inside of the binding and stiffer padding on the outside, so that over time the softer part squashes down and you end up with an angle that works for you. There's a little grey squishy bit under your heel that helps to absorb impacts, and the material is supposed to stay soft even when it is really cold. I have size 9.5 boots and ride boards with a regular mounting pattern, so I use the reflex discs. You can see that running through the middle of the disc there's a thinner and more flexible section. The idea is that it will help the board flex nicely under the bindings without being restricted by a stiff disc and binding base plate. Like most bindings, you can change the angles by 3-degree increments, and there are 3 positions that you can mount the bindings in, depending on the size of your boots. I have medium-sized Cartels, which have a size range of US 8 to 11, and my boots being a 9.5 mean that I mount them with the discs centered, so I get the same amount of toe or heel overhang. The rest of the bindings have plenty of adjustment options, though I haven't needed or bothered to change most of them. On the toes there's a forwards and backwards setting, so depending on the size of your boots you can change the point that they mount from, though to make that change you'll need to do them while the bindings are not mounted to the board. The length of the ankle and toe straps can be changed without a screwdriver. You can just flip the little cap up and unscrew it with your hands, choose a different position and retighten it. You can also change the position that the ankle strap mounts from. The forward lean of the high back is adjusted with this dial, and you can just spin it until you get enough angle. There are little marks with an F1, F2, so you can copy the same settings to both bindings. One of the adjustments that a lot of people don't bother to do is changing the rotation of the high backs. If you ride with bigger angles, it can be worth rotating the high backs so they line up with the heel edge of the board and you get the most response possible. To change them, loosen these 2 screws a little bit until the plastic section can move around, then you can wiggle the high back around until it's aligned with the heel edge of the board, then retighten the screws. Cartels are a decent step up from the Solomon District bindings that I now have on my park board. The straps are the first most noticeable difference. They're very low profile, and they take just a couple of cranks on the ratchets to tighten. Releasing the ratchets is very easy as well. Even with big mets on, they slide off very easily. The stiffer flex is very noticeable, but in a good way. I don't ride with any forward lean, but it still has a very direct feel, so that the slightest movement of my feet seems to go straight to the board. Combined with a medium stiff flexing board, makes riding fast, landing in chopped up snow much easier on your legs. I would be able to recommend the Cartels as a binding for someone who wants one good pair of bindings that will handle anything they want to ride. I've had a few pairs of Burton bindings over the years and have never had any problems with anything breaking. For me, they've all been very reliable. If you ride a bit more park, the Malavitas might be a good option that keep most of the Cartels features but have a slightly softer flex. If you are looking for new bindings, have a search on snowboardrobot.com/search. It looks through a whole bunch of snowboard stores at once, so if they are on sale anywhere, you should be able to find a good deal.